The universal axis, how spin, spirals, and self-similarity define the fabric of all 11 dimensions. The central purpose of this channel is to find the secret language of the universe. We have mapped the hidden infrastructure of reality, the 11 dimensions, from the limitless potential of the zero dimension, 0D, to the unifying force of the 11th dimension, 11D. We have discovered that the cosmos is governed by structure, balance, and flow. Today, we confront a geometric constant that manifests at every scale of existence, the spiral. Look at a simple planetary ring. Look at our solar system. Look at a massive galaxy. They all share dimensional commonalities rooted in kinetic geometry. This pervasive, unified spiral motion is not a coincidence. It is the universal axis, the geometric mandate of the Tao manifesting in matter. At the 11-dimensional model, the universal Tao, we assert that the commonality of the spiral across planetary, solar, and galactic levels proves a profound truth. The universe is a single, continuous, self-similar entity. The spiral is the quantifiable evidence of the 11th dimension's unifying force and suggests the ultimate shape of our cosmos is a massive, irreducible, logarithmic fractal. Part 1. The geometric mandate. Why the circle is a myth. The foundation of understanding this universal phenomenon rests on resolving the ancient conflict between the unquantifiable ideal, the circle, and the quantifiable reality, the spiral. The transcendental barrier, the failure to quantify perfection. The circle, quantified by pi, p 3.4159, represents an unquantifiable, infinite ideal. P is a transcendental number, meaning its numerical description is non-terminating, non-repeating, and impossible to fully resolve or write down. The abstraction versus reality. The circle is a beautiful abstraction, but the physical universe cannot produce it. Quantum fluctuations and thermal motion prevent the perfect alignment required for a mathematically pure circle. Its constant, infinite nature, P, makes it the philosophical symbol of the unachievable, static perfection stored only in the highest dimensional ideals. The quantifiable process, phi and the law of becoming. In sharp contrast, the golden ratio, F 1.618, offers a path to quantifying process and growth. F is the driving factor of the golden spiral, a specific logarithmic spiral defined by the simple recursive law of the Fibonacci sequence. The law of becoming. The ratio of consecutive Fibonacci numbers perpetually approaches F. This means the structure is never static. It is always in the process of becoming the perfect ratio. The spiral is the physical truth because it is the only geometry that can accommodate both motion and continuous proportional change. The Taoist flow. F is the quantifiable truth because it is the geometric expression of Taoist Wu Wei, the low-friction geometry that yields maximum outcome, growth, with minimum effort, conserved ratio. The spiral is the fundamental dynamic geometry of the universe. Part 2. The local manifestation. Spirals in planetary systems. The commonality begins at the smallest observable scale of a rotating disk, where the laws of differential rotation and tidal forces impose inescapable spiral forms. Planetary rings, differential rotation and tidal forces. Planetary ring systems, such as Saturn's, are textbook examples of how rotation leads to spiral structure at the planetary level. Differential rotation. Ring particles, ranging from centimeters to several meters in size, must follow Kepler's third law. This dictates that particles nearer the planet move more rapidly than those further away. This inherent difference in speed is known as differential rotation. Spiral density waves. This differential rotation generates Kepler shear, causing particles to collide at varying velocities. This collision creates spiral density waves, patterns of tightly wrapped spiral formations in the rings. These waves are generated by gravitational resonances with the planet's moons or internal structures, proving that the local system's dynamics are governed by continuous spiral patterns, not static circles. Dimensional mapping, 6D, 7D. These dynamics are the sixth dimension, orbital motion, and seventh dimension, orbital tilt influence, expressing the spiral truth. An orbit is an illusion of a circle, but the particle's true paths within the ring system are complex, continuous spiral flows through space. The solar system, the helical path. Our entire solar system provides the most personal evidence that the circle is a myth. The galactic spiral. The Sun is not orbiting the Milky Way in a flat circle. It is moving in a stunning three-dimensional helical path. Our entire solar system, dragging every planet, moon and asteroid along with it, is bobbing up and down through the galaxy's thin disk over a period of roughly 60 million years. Angular momentum conservation. This motion is dictated by the conservation of angular momentum. Our solar system was born from a huge rotating cloud of gas and dust. Gravitational forces caused the cloud to contract, and the rotation rate increased. This primordial angular momentum is conserved through the massive helical spiral, ensuring that our entire home is perpetually in motion. Part 3. The Cosmic Mandate. Spirals in Galaxies and the 10th Dimension. The spiral structure is not a local planetary anomaly. It is the organizing mandate of the manifest universe, enforced by the deterministic principles of the higher dimensions. Galactic rotation curves and dark matter spiral galaxies, such as the Milky Way, are the most recognizable examples of this universal geometry. Their structure is maintained by a finely tuned rotational equilibrium. The structure of rotation. The structure of a galaxy is understood through its rotation curves, the plot of the orbital speeds of stars versus their radial distance from the center. These curves show that the rotational speeds of stars do not follow Newtonian rules based on visible mass. They remain flat far into the galaxy's edges. The dark matter spiral. This deviation proves the existence of dark matter, the invisible substance that dominates the mass distribution. The spiral arm structure is the complex, self-organizing pattern that emerges as visible matter attempts to adhere to the gravitational forces dictated by the massive, spinning dark matter halo. The spiral arm is the ultimate large-scale manifestation of differential rotation and structural integrity. The 10th dimension and universal alignment. The pervasive, coordinated nature of this rotation points directly to the deterministic mandate of the 10th dimension, 10D. 10D, deterministic distribution, Yang. The 10D is the massive, expansive force of Yang that imposes a uniform structural law. The spin of all structures must originate from the zero dimension's infinitely spinning singularity. The 10D ensures that this initial angular momentum is distributed and conserved throughout the cosmic expansion. Alignment with the cosmic web. New data confirms this mandate. There is a statistically significant tendency for the galaxy's spin axis to align along the filament axis of the large-scale structure of the universe. This proves that the local chaotic spin of a galaxy is ultimately being harmonized and structured by a vast external geometric influence, the 10D imposing its deterministic will on the cosmic architecture. Part 4. Dimensional coherence. The physics of the spiral. The commonality of the spiral across rings, solar systems and galaxies is the physical evidence that the laws of motion are interconnected across all 11 dimensions, the fractal and the golden ratio. The geometric key to this coherence is the concept of fractal dimensions and the golden ratio. Self-similarity. The golden spiral is self-similar. This means that the shape and internal structure are preserved when magnified or scaled down. The prevalence of the spiral proves that the universe operates on a single, continuous geometric logic, the universality of the self-organizing process. Dimensional logic. The spiral is the only geometry that can effectively bridge the dimensional gaps. It is a continuous curve, like general relativity space-time manifold, that is constructed from discrete, sequential, quantifiable segments, like the Fibonacci sequence, which is the language of quantum mechanics. Motion as higher dimensional shadow. The motion we observe in 3D is a shadow of movement in the higher dimensions. Embedding and curvature. General relativity states that matter dictates the curvature of our 4D spacetime. Higher dimensional theories postulate that this 4D curvature arises because our universe is embedded in a higher dimensional vacuum manifold. Kinetic geometry. The continuous dynamic spiral motion we observe from a planet's orbit to a helical galactic path is merely the geometric artifact created by the constant kinetic geometry and embedding of our reality within the 5th, 6th and 7th dimensions. Part 5. Speculation. The shape of the universal spiral. What does this overwhelming, unified spiral motion suggest about the ultimate shape and global topology of the cosmos? The universe as a logarithmic fractal. The most compelling philosophical conclusion is that the universe in its entirety is a massive, irreducible logarithmic fractal. Irreducible complexity. Because the spiral is the geometry of irreducible self-similarity governed by F, the cosmos is likely not a simple Euclidean space. The universe must be a structure that maintains its coherence at all scales, from the spin of an electron, intrinsic angular momentum, to the alignment of the cosmic web. The crisis of curvature. Current observational evidence implies the observable universe is spatially flat. However, the data is complex, and some studies suggest the universe may be curved and closed. If the spiral is the rule, the universe's global topology may be multiply connected, structured like a vast continuous 3 torus, or more accurately, a helical manifold, a geometric system that allows endless continuous travel back to the starting point, but always through an accelerating, spiraling trajectory. The 11th dimension's unifying geometry. The 11th dimension, 11D, is the master symphony, the geometric unifying field that binds all forces and dimensions. The unifying spiral. The universal spiral is the geometric mandate of the 11D. It proves that the Taoist force of yin, contraction, unification, successfully integrates the expansive force of the 10th dimension, yang, into a single, cohesive form. The spiral is the perfect balance between chaos and order, motion and integrity. The ultimate implication is that we are not living in a simple flat plane. We are living inside a geometric system of immense irreducible complexity, constantly expanding and turning, demonstrating that the only constant in the universe is the law of continuous, proportional spiral change. The universal axis. How spin, spirals, and self-similarity define the fabric of all 11 dimensions. The central purpose of this channel is to find the secret language of the universe. Thank you for your dimensional contribution today. If this resonates, please subscribe and share with other consciousness on your frequency.